Up next on Eco Company.
So come on, you guys, take one.
It's garlic fry central as we head out to the ballpark. And this is one of the greenest ones in the league.
So you've seen solar panels, but how about one of these things? It's a balloon that captures the power of the sun.
And it's changing the face of solar.
Plus,
Who is ready to do whatever it takes to stop global warming?
he's a teen on a mission to save the planet.
Then say goodbye to buildings that are bad for the planet. We're getting a lesson on how to build it green.
This is just like the Jetsons.
Eco Company starts now.
If you're ready to green up your game, you've come to the right place. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Adam. You're watching Eco Company.
This week, we've headed out to the ballpark,
This is the home of the San Francisco Giants.
one of the greenest places to play ball in the major leagues.
Jordan and Brendan are already down there checking out batting practice.
You know, I've always wanted to see the warm-up of a big ball game.
Hey guys, practice is in full swing out there on the field.
And when it comes to home runs, these guys hit them out of the park when it comes to helping the planet.
It's all about scoring big, on and off the field. Take me out to the ballpark, but make it a green one, will ya? That's what the San Francisco Giants are doing on their home turf. From what goes in here, to what's on top of here, and what's in here, this is one of the Major League Baseball teams that's hitting a green home run.
We have formed the genesis of a green team, and we meet about every aspect involving potential greening programs that we can control here in this ballpark. And look at the Bay Bridge.
George Costa is Vice President of Ballpark Operations, and he's giving us the score. So how many people does this park hold?
On a day where we're really maxed out, we do over 42,000 people.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, it is, and they generate a lot of stuff, and they leave it behind. They assume that we're going to pick it up for them.
And they do. That's where these guys come in.
The green team is, we're starting a new program here at the ballpark trying to emphasize recycling.
Danny Cutero is the park's recycling manager.
We sort everything here at the sorting tables and take them where they need to go. Basically, take out the recycling, take out the garbage, plastics, and then everything else is pretty much compostable. So we dump them into these bins right here, and when they get filled up, we take them to the compactors.
Recycling bins in places like the concession areas help too. And that brings us to the hottest food commodity at the park. Garlic fries, like you said, a no-brainer. You have to have when you go to the Giants game.
Absolutely.
How many do you make at your average game?
Each stand does approximately 800 pounds a game.
So this isn't your average concession stand. What's so special about this?
This year, we decided to make a stand that's completely energy efficient.
100%.
100%.
Sandy Filipiak is the director of park concessions. She says the efficient gas fryers use less energy and less cooking oil too. Other measures include switching to bulbs that save energy. Then, when it comes to serving them up,
All of our cups, our containers, carry-out trays, even our plastic cups that are souvenir are all absolutely 100% recyclable.
why the stand is as green as the grass on the fields. Enter Greg Elliott, the head groundskeeper. It's his job to make sure the field's in tip-top shape.
We try to take a green initiative with it and try not to use any pesticides or herbicides and just use our fertility and our maintenance practices to maintain the field.
Another big deal down here is saving water.
First thing is the type of soil. You know, a soil that drains, a sand-based soil, is very important.
Important because it retains the perfect moisture balance it needs without frequent watering.
The soil has a certain field capacity. Anything over field capacity is a misuse of water. Anything under, you need more. So you try to manage that at field capacity, which is where we want to be. And there's a
Sprinkler
good
heads
example
also help conserve.
right here of the large droplets coming down into the smaller droplets down here.
Then there's the irrigation clock, which gathers weather info and combines it with field conditions to create the optimum watering schedule.
The future of what we do is really using less fossil fuels, using less water, and really trying to maintain the field accordingly.
And speaking of fossil fuels, let's head back to the stand. All those fans must create a lot of CO2 getting here, right?
42,000 people, we think of this as a city.
Yeah, it's huge, which brings up transportation. And I hear
Yes.
that half the fans here use public transportation. I mean, that's huge.
It's outstanding, and we're driven to become the most transportation-friendly ballpark in the country.
Some of them even arrive by ferry. It's all part of efforts to green America's favorite pastime, both now and into the future.
The park was the first in the nation to install solar panels, too.
Solar panels are a great idea, but here's another one for you. Solar balloons.
That sounds like it could be pretty cool.
This is cutting-edge new tech we had to see to believe.
It's reflecting the power of the sun to create energy here on Earth. Sure, we've heard of solar power before, but we've never seen it quite like this.
This is our inflated solar concentrator. It's made of thin film plastic, and we use it to concentrate the light and produce electricity.
Rob Lampkin is the CEO of Cool Earth Solar, a company that's designing and building new solar balloons to power the planet.
We're not doing it with just flat panels. We're using these balloons to concentrate the light and harness much more of the sun's energy that we get.
Inside, the sun's rays are concentrated on a solar photovoltaic cell in the middle. That cell then converts the sunlight into electricity.
We use 2-axis tracking so that we can continually keep these concentrators pointed right at the sun so that we can focus the light and make the electricity. You can see what the focal point is now on the front surface of the film. Its front surface is just clear, thin film plastic, and the back surface started out as plastic, clear, like this, and then a very thin layer of aluminum is vacuum deposited on the film, just a few microns thick, and that creates a nice mirrored surface, so that when we inflate it, we get a very nice solar concentrator that's very cheap, very lightweight, and quick to deploy.
So how much do these weigh? I mean, it's a balloon.
It's a balloon and it's a solar concentrator. The amount of plastic in this 8-foot inflated solar concentrator is between 1.5 pounds and 2 pounds of plastic. It will hold about 10 pounds of air.
And it doesn't cost a lot to get 1.5 pounds of plastic, does it?
Just a couple bucks. And so this is really the magic of the cooler technology and why we're able to produce solar energy so much cheaper than the other technologies that are out there today.
Donna is a student from MIT. She's an intern here and helping them test the plastic.
This is the reflective film that goes on the back, and on the front we put this clear film.
And this is to protect the reflective film, I guess?
This filters out some of the UV from the sun so it doesn't damage the solar cell as much. And then the sunlight comes through here, and then it also protects the solar cell on the inside.
So what are you testing the plastics for?
We're testing them to see how long we can get them to last in environmental conditions, because these things are going to be outside for a whole year. So they're going to be rained on, it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, and so we have to make sure that these can hold up to whatever happens outside. Yeah, that they're durable.
This is all recyclable, so we can take a balloon, recycle the plastic, and make another solar balloon.
Each one of these 8-foot concentrators can produce about 1 kilowatt during peak hours. A home uses about 2 to 3 kilowatts, but Lampkin says their plans are much more global.
We need to be covering thousands and thousands of acres. And so that's how we see these concentrators deployed. Hundreds and thousands of acres at a time across the world, each generating a kilowatt. You add it all up and eventually you start producing gigawatts and terawatts worth of energy, which is what we need to address our growing and very large energy problem that we have.
With the global demand for energy expected to grow nearly 50% by 2030, their goal is to make solar cheaper and reduce our dependence on fossil fuels.
We have to drive the cost of solar lower. It's not a technology problem at this point. It is hard engineering work, driving the cost down so that nobody will want to build a coal plant in the future, because this will be available and it will be cheaper.
It's a problem Donna plans to continue to work on herself.
It just seems to me that this is a really big global problem, and it's probably the best place that I can devote my effort to make a difference in the world.
An average of 35,000 people pack into this ballpark to see every game.
Now imagine if every one of them recycled or did something good for the environment.
Coming up, the power of one to make a difference.
We simply must stop global warming within our lifetimes.
One team takes a stand to fight climate change.
Plus, for all you budding architects out there, building it green with style. More Eco Company is next.
Hey, you're watching Eco Company.
Next up, we've tracked down a cool kid doing amazing things to save the planet.
He's met with former Vice President Al Gore and has even made his own nonprofit group that helps fight climate change.
You can bet this is just the beginning for this high school sophomore.
What do I want? Stop global warming!
Meet high school sophomore Alec Loorz.
That's who I do!
From starting his own environmental nonprofit organization, becoming the youngest presenter trained by Al Gore's climate project, and writing a new Declaration of Independence, this Ventura, California teen isn't taking climate change sitting down.
I feel that I'm being called to stop global warming within my lifetime. Our voices matter more than anyone else, and we are already making the world better.
We caught up with this eco-crusader doing a presentation for the Alliance for Climate Education.
Our organizations.
Loorz has given dozens of these presentations on the science of climate change.
We're adding more CO2 into the atmosphere than the Earth is prepared to handle.
What causes it, and how to fight it.
For example, if every American just replaced 4 light bulbs with CFLs, it would be the same as taking 3 million cars off the road.
Loorz says he felt the call to do something when he was only 12. What really got you started with all this? I mean, what was your inspiration?
Well, it all started when I saw Al Gore's movie, An Inconvenient Truth, and after I saw that movie, I was just so motivated by the global warming issue, this climate crisis. I knew I had to do something about it.
He contacted Al Gore's climate project then and there, but he was too young at the time. So he started his own nonprofit group, Kids vs. Global Warming instead. And this media whiz kid designed his own presentation.
I just feel so passionate about this issue. I just want to do everything I can to slow down global warming and to convince other people that we need to be taking action.
It wasn't long before Gore's camp welcomed him into the fold.
He felt really bad about rejecting me a couple years before, so he actually ended up personally inviting me to his next training session in Nashville, Tennessee. So I then became the youngest trained presenter of his Inconvenient Truth presentation.
Loorz isn't just talking the talk, he's walking it too. He started Sea Level Awareness Campaign, or SLAP for short. It shows us one thing that could happen if climate change isn't stopped.
I saw a map of what my city, Ventura, would look like if we didn't respond to climate change, and sea level rose 23 feet like scientists project, and I was just blown away. Half of the city would be gone within a year. We had put out these 9 poles throughout the beach warning of future sea level rise.
He's not stopping there. He's taking his case to lawmakers too.
So I wrote a Declaration of Independence from fossil fuels, and it states that we, the youth of America, no longer want to be governed by the fossil fuel industry. Our addiction to fossil fuels is endangering our rights as youth to life, liberty, and happiness.
Loorz says it's about sending world leaders a message.
Just letting them know that we care about this issue and that we as youth demand that they take action and make choices that benefit our future.
It's a future we hold in the palm of our hands.
So who is ready to do whatever it takes to stop global warming? We're going to be affected more than anyone else by the global climate crisis, and we're going to have to grow up to face the consequences of what the world does or fails to do now. And I think we don't have to wait till we grow up to make these changes. People always say that we're the future, but we're here now. So we're the present, and our voices do make a difference.
Now we want to hear from you.
If you're doing something to green up the world around you, tell us about it.
Upload your video to eco-company.tv and it could end up on the show.
And we're not done yet.
Up next, what it means to build it green and why we should all care about it. More Eco Company is next. Welcome back to Eco Company.
Of course we know buildings use up a lot of our energy and resources.
But they don't have to. It's all about building it green. Buildings. big and small, short and tall. They take up a lot of space on our planet. Did you know they're a bigger source of greenhouse gas emissions than cars? The U.S. Energy Department says they account for nearly 50% of our energy consumption and CO2 emissions. Globally, that number jumps to nearly 80%. Conventional cement alone is estimated to emit more CO2 into the atmosphere than the entire global airline industry. So what can we do to make buildings more eco-friendly, save energy and resources? Learn how to green them up fast. That brings us here, to the David Brower Center in Berkeley, California, named after the environmental pioneer and former executive director of the Sierra Club. Wall to wall, ceiling to ceiling, this place is packed with ways to build it green. Executive Director Amy Tobin is giving us a tour.
So what are some of the key features that make this place green?
There are so many. The first is that it has a narrow floor plate. So the building itself is very narrow to maximize daylighting deep into the offices. So when you think about an office building, usually you don't think about fresh air and natural light. And this building is really focused on that. The entire design was oriented around maximizing light into the offices.
More natural light means less of these, a big energy savings. A greener concrete cuts the carbon footprint too.
So this is made of concrete and a little something else.
That's right. So we have a very high percentage of slag in our concrete. And slag is a byproduct of steel manufacturing. It's usually a waste product. So by using slag mixed with cement, we use less cement, and therefore there's less CO2 production.
It also uses a bit less water than used to make conventional cement, which brings us to something rather unique in the bathroom.
So yeah, I understand that restrooms are a place where a lot of water is used, a lot of energy. So what are you doing to conserve that?
There's a lot going on in here. So as you look into this stall,
maybe we should flush that first.
That's rainwater.
Oh,
so that's
really?
actually been flushed. We're collecting rainwater in a cistern in our basement and using it in the toilet. And we have filters, but it still comes up that color. So we realized we had to put a sign up because people were coming in and flushing the toilet. In the men's room, we have the first waterless urinals in Berkeley.
Water-saving fixtures dot the sinks, surrounded by recycled glass countertop. But one thing you won't find is paper towels.
This is just like the Jetsons.
Instead, energy-efficient dryers do the job. Now that my hands are clean, time to move on.
You have your own theater.
That we do.
This place is also full of bamboo, a green choice because it grows so quickly. The seats are special too.
Pretty comfortable, right?
Very.
Oh, I'm putting my feet up on the seats. I'm not supposed to do that. There's recycled content in the fabric. It's non-toxic. It's recyclable. And then the carpet in this room is entirely made of recycled carpet.
That's inside. What about the exterior?
Something tells me that this office building wall is not your typical office building wall.
You're right. This is zinc siding instead of aluminum. And zinc takes less energy to extract from the earth. It lasts for longer. And then see these white shelves here? Those are sun shading devices that help control the heat gain into the offices. And they also reflect light into the offices.
And on the roof...
Wow, so these are the solar panels you're talking about. How big is the system you're using?
58 kilowatts.
Wow.
It's providing about 40% of the building's energy.
So is there a way to figure out how much energy we're using right now?
Yeah. We're monitoring all of the building systems, and anyone, anywhere can go online to our website and see exactly how much energy we're using at any given time, how much water we're using, how much solar energy we're using.
So from its energy-saving design to its eco-friendly building materials and water-saving measures, the David Brower Center is doing its part to cut its carbon footprint. It's all part of an effort to create greener skylines everywhere, one building at a time.
A great way to green up what you eat is here, in an organic garden like this one.
Organic foods aren't sprayed with chemicals like the ones that are conventionally grown.
But you don't have to grow them yourself. A great place to start is your local farmer's market.
Maybe you can't buy everything organic because you can't find it or it costs a little more. Well, there are some more important to take home than others.
Apples, strawberries, spinach, and bell peppers have the highest levels of pesticide residue, so get these organic. The same goes for grapes, cherries, peaches, and even celery.
There's even a free guide on the so-called Dirty Dozen that you can find on some phones.
Whatever you do, be eco-wise and be part of the solution.
That's it for us this week. Thanks for tuning in.
I can't wait to dig into these garlic fries.
Don't forget to check out our website at eco-company.tv.
We're going to go head over to the game, but we'll see you next week on Eco Company.